So our slogan is, we make things happen for the people that make things happen. And I think that idea is the difference between being recruited and being represented.
So the example we talk about a lot is in recruiting and being represented is look at sports. We use sports analogies a lot. So in high school athletes, as they're coming out of high school, are getting recruited by a number of universities. Let's just use football as an example. That recruit is sitting in his family room, and the coaches are coming in droves, and they're pitching their university. They're talking about all the highlights. They don't tell you where the bodies are buried. They're talking about whatever shines brightest at that university. It could be the facilities. They could have an amazing strength and conditioning program. They could have an amazing cafeteria. They could have an amazing stadium. They're going to highlight all of the bright points within that university, and it's sell, sell, sell. And they hear the same thing over and over and over again. And it happens in our business. So recruiters will call people up, not knowing the first thing about them, not even really getting to know them, and start pitching a company. And it's sell, sell, sell. And the candidate immediately puts their guard up. I don't blame him. Hell, I don't blame him for not talking to many recruiters, because if that's all you hear and there's no back and forth, what's the point? Versus being an agent and being represented, that agent goes through the walk with you. So let's transition into pro sports, an NFL athlete. Once they have developed, say, their book of business or their resume as a performer, that agent goes through the process with them. The agent isn't pitching them on a particular NFL team. Right.
So I agree with you, and I think one of the things that baffles me is that people in the mortgage business, especially on the sales side or the executive side, the kind of money that people are earning in that business, it's obviously very top tier. I mean, it's at an athlete making, obviously some people are making millions.
Yeah.
But an athlete doesn't represent themselves in a negotiation.
No.
An actor or an actress doesn't represent themselves in a negotiation. When you're making that kind of money, yeah, you might be making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, and you might think things are great.
Yeah.
But unless you have an agent that can help you maximize your value and know what your true value is, and negotiate for you and mediate for you and advocate for you, then you're leaving money on the table most likely. And it baffles me that somebody would handle their own negotiation.
Yeah, that's a big piece of it. But you're going to have multiple opportunities as well. You know, you're not just, it's not, hey, I hope this fits, you know. Best of luck. You're gonna have multiple opportunities. Obviously, we talk about it. You know, the money matters. It's people that say it doesn't, or lie to themselves. But you have to be able to look at multiple opportunities. You know, and I think that's one advantage of being represented versus just recruiting and calling them up and pitching.
Can you imagine being a Major League Baseball free agent and having to go find your own team?
It doesn't happen.
Right, and an agent will talk to a team and help them carve that situation out for that prospective athlete. Okay, you want my guy? Well, then you got to make room. You got to get rid of this guy. You got to move this guy over here so that my guy feels comfortable that you're putting all your eggs in his basket, and then we'll sign with you.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, we work behind the scenes way more than anybody understands. It's not just about calling people and trying to get them to make a job change, you know? Especially when you're representing the elite in the industry, the top 30, 40% of the business.
It's a different approach to the search business than most people take. And I think once people realize that, they do let their guard down. It's okay, this is a little different. This is a different animal here. They're not calling me up telling me how amazing their, as a matter of fact, they haven't even talked about who their client is or who they represent. They're trying to find out about me first. Once they realize we're on their side and we're truly going to walk through this with them, once we get to know them, once we understand their business, because it's really an acquisition. You know, somebody's looking at acquiring their business.
That's a good point, and I say that a lot.
Yeah.
You know, companies have to stop looking at this like you're hiring an employee or a group of people to be employees. It is a merger and acquisition. When somebody from the production side of the business moves to your label, they're bringing their book of business with them, their contacts. You're in essence acquiring a business within your business, and you need to look at it that way. And I think the companies that are willing to spend the money for the top performers, it's not just go write big checks and wild and woolly, right? You have to verify income. There has to be some verification involved. But when you identify a top player or a top team, don't be afraid to step up to the plate for those folks and understand that if you were buying a business, that business wouldn't just come over to you and and pay you out of profits over time, you'd have to buy that business. And that's the same thing here. When you're buying an established group, 100, 200, 300, $400 million a year group, you have to spend some money to get that.
Also, the advantage of being represented is you're going to get an idea what is your, some people don't even know what their value is. They've got their head down, they're busy, they're making good money. They may have a relationship with the person they report to. And honestly, that's a lot of the people that we work with. We always say, you don't have to have a white flag over your head ready to be recruited. And that has nothing to do with it.
Or you don't have to be unhappy.
No, absolutely not.
I'm happy where I'm at. Well, good for you. I'm
That's
glad you're
fantastic. It's the best time to entertain things, because you can be very, very selective. So that's part of the deal, I think. That's really the most opportune time to if nothing else, go out there and see what your value is.
What's your line? If I ever stopped at I'm happy where I'm at, I'd be living in a
I would be. Yeah, if I stopped every time somebody said that, I mean, yeah, we'd be in pretty tight quarters at the Jackson house. So.